I guess that tunes into what people say, like you got to be in the moment and all that. But man, when you're
Mhm.
about to win the U.S. Open, it's real hard to be in the moment. You know what I mean? Like, give me something to work
Yeah.
with.
Yeah. So do you do any practices outside of golf that help you stay in the moment, like journaling or meditation or anything like that?
Yes, I do. Well, I don't know. I would say that I don't, but I do. I have an aunt who's she lives in San Diego, and she's CEO of a health group organization, and she's always advised us to write what you're grateful for, like 10 things every day.
Mhm.
And sometimes, I'm grateful for golf, grateful for, the opportunities the University of Richmond gave me. So I
Yeah.
try to do that. I don't do it in a disciplined way because I feel like it should just kind of, come. And
Mhm.
so I do that once in a while when I can. And I started doing it disciplined. And then once I kind of got the hang of it, um, I try to just kind of do it in my everyday life. Like instead of
Yeah.
actually having to write it, I was like, why can't I just feel this way all the time? And
Yeah.
then I also try to, when I'm here in Jacksonville, Florida, I try to walk on the beach and I will listen to anything from, you know, um, I wouldn't say motivational speakers, but sometimes on SoundCloud they'll put like a bunch of little quotes together from different
Mhm.
speeches. So, and I'll
Yeah.
put it in there. I love listening to that because it just reminds you. And it's not about golf and it's not about sports. It's just kind of like overall about life. And I love listening to more of those things that I can apply to golf the way I want to. Um, or like things like Hidden Brain, that
Mhm.
podcast. And I also like to listen to podcasts that talk about creativity because in artists, they call it the flow when they're writing music or when they're painting something. And I see golf more as my craft than my sport, so I like to apply those things to here. And then I try to read as much as I can.
That's a good combination, reading,
So I said no,
nature,
but I do a lot.
gratefulness. Yeah. Yeah, I don't do anything, but I do these 3 things all the time. No, but that's that's great. I was just listening to a podcast with this guy, Andrew Huberman, who's a neuroscientist. I don't know if you've ever heard a podcast with him, but he was talking about the scientific research behind stillness and gratefulness
Mm,
combined, that they have done studies with people who are purposefully bringing to mind things that they're grateful about while also being still. So it's kind of a
mm,
meditation, goes hand in hand, and it activates similar pathways in the brain as MDMA and ecstasy. So you're getting these hits of neurochemical happiness, and you're
ooh,
getting it, like you're literally getting a boost from feeling grateful. And
yeah.
so for me, I tend to think about things like I'm so routine, for better or worse. I try to remember that I'm not my routine, and I gotta break out of it sometimes and be spontaneous. But when I look at things like meditation or gratefulness, like I try to be like, okay, what is the return on gratefulness? Like, okay, like, am I
What's
just
the
doing
point
this?
of this?
Yeah, is this just like woo woo bullshit, or am I actually like, what is writing down 3 things in a journal every morning? Shout out to the 5 minute journal. That's a great journal if you're ever looking for something to write down, gratefulness or your mindset for the day. But I'll write it down. I was wondering, what is the point of this? Like, it's only 5 minutes a day, but am I actually getting anything out of this? And then I listened to Andrew Huberman talk about it, and it made me feel better because selfishly, I wanted to be like, I want to
You
get
want
shit out of
something.
this too. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I'm grateful for the people in my life, but also I'm happy that being grateful makes me happy too.
Yeah.
And like I think I always felt that, but seeing evidence of that reinforced my willingness to do that, and then kind of reinforce that being a part of my routine. So I think it's great that it's a part of yours
I
as
love it.
well.
You know, this might help you too. My father, he gave me a book to read in college. It was called Feel Free to Prosper. And I was like, Dad, don't you think I have enough stuff to read? No, just kidding. It was like University of
Yeah.
Richmond giving us so many pages to read out of textbooks. But this book, the best thing that I got out of this book was really cool that she said, if we're talking about like the laws of attraction and everything, she said, how do you feel? How would you feel if you already had whatever you wanted? Right. So, like, you would be, I don't know, what would be like your goal for listeners?
My goal for listeners, having 1 million people an episode would be really cool.
Okay. So, what this lady was saying was saying, how would you feel if you had 100 million? Like, she was like, well, sorry, let me back up. She said things that we already have for, we're thankful for, and things that we don't have, we just want, right? We
Mhm.
can become needy. You're unhappy about it because you don't have it. And so her whole idea about feel free to prosper is to feel like you already had 100 million listeners. So she's like, just imagine, like, how would you feel right now? And so I'm like, okay, feeling like I'm, number one in the world. I was like, oh, that feels pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
that's awesome. And so her whole idea was, with the laws of attraction and everything, is that you just got to already feel it, because emotions is what technically, your feelings is the strongest energy that we have. So, that was her whole idea. And I remember, like, in college, I was just like, okay, how did I feel if I was already a professional golfer? And I'm like, yeah, I feel good. And I was like, okay, I just feel
Mhm.
good. I'm just gonna keep feeling that until it becomes true. So that was her explanation for why you write down your things that you're thankful for. And she said, write down whatever, 8 that you are for. I'm thankful for my family. I'm
Mhm.
grateful for my family. And then 2 that are not really real, but how would you feel, right? So I was like, okay, I'm thankful for being number one in the world. I was like, oh, I feel awesome. I'm just on this vibe now.
I like
So,
that. Feel
yeah,
feel free to prosper. I'll
yeah,
check it out.
it's a great book. Yeah. And I also just finished a book called The Heart's Code, and that's one goes in kind of like with
The
what you
Heart's Code.
yeah, what your friend, I said your friend, what your book is about, and it talks about like the biology of it all, which is really cool.
Okay,
So it's
dope.
really cool.
I'll
Yeah.
check that out too.
Yeah, I love this stuff. I love all that stuff that I can apply to my golf game. I like thrive for it.